Temperature.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session of Pastor Doug's Virtual VIP Midweek Bible Study. Really glad to have you here. And you can see my ministry partner, Pastor Tall Doug, is here. And for some reason, he wanted us to start off screen a little bit. So we'll straighten that out and just see what you guys thought.
Not my idea. Let's be perfectly clear about that.
I like when you see those guys. You ever do the Zoom calls and they got the guys on there like this or whatever, or it's like this, and you can see the top of their head. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. If you were part of our Sunday service, you'll remember we talked about our wellness group and everything, and I thought they did such a nice job of
They really did.
presenting
Yes, they did.
presenting everything. They were sharing what the ministry is all about, and we're going to cover it just a little bit here. To be clear, there's like two kind of sets of the organization. There's the executive committee team that's working on the documentation and all the information, the things that are going to be on the website and all of that. So if you have an issue or your family has something that they're dealing with, um, you can contact our teams and they will walk you through the process of how to navigate what you might be facing.
Sure, and this ministry, it's really all encompassing. They have taken on the challenge of going from the smallest of issues to the largest of issues. So you may think that your little problem or your little bit of depression, stress doesn't rise to the level of needing some help or talking to somebody about it. Trust me, it does. It doesn't matter what it is. The other part of this get together on Wednesday at 5 o'clock is that sometimes we just talk. And it's not the organizational stuff that Pastor just mentioned, but it's just what's on your mind. Maybe you had a bad day or some experience that is weighing heavy on your mind, and we just talk about it and get it off your chest. And then you hear somebody else has been through something similar, maybe the exact same kind of scenario. Sadly, maybe something a lot worse, and puts things in perspective. So it doesn't matter what level of issue you're dealing with. This is a great group to get involved with and get some help from.
From the organizational side and the preparation that we went through with the ministry, it became clear that there were two distinct operating measures that we needed to do. We wanted to be ready for, like Doug was mentioning, maybe a more serious type of thing if somebody had a serious depression issue or possible suicide attempt or whatever going on, that you guys and the families had a pathway that we could help you with. So, for example, let's say I have an issue going on within my family, and I can make contact to Faith Church about getting some help and assistance on how to navigate through this thing. That helps me understand what the process is. So, um, let's say, for example, Doug, I call you. I'm at the hospital. I have a child who attempted suicide. How can you help me with that? I don't know what to do. We're over here at the ER, and the call comes into Faith Church. So what happens then?
Well, we have a phone tree essentially. We've got a handful of people that, depending on who's available at any given moment, can come and physically be with you and help walk you through what the steps ought to be, tell you about the resources that exist here in the county. There's so much out there that prior to getting involved, I had no idea what was available. The state does something, the county does something, and I kind of know that conceptually, but I had no idea the nuts and bolts or how extensive it is. There are pages and pages of resources available, but which one do you go to? And it's overwhelming and daunting to someone, particularly when you're in the middle of some crisis. You can't go through this list and say, "Oh, is that one for me? Do I get help here?" But these advocates that we have here will do that. They can walk you through what best fits your situation.
And so most of the people that are involved in that side of the ministry have experience, and they've gone through it. They've either had a family member or associate somehow that's gone through and had some experience in there. So we really feel like it's going to be extremely helpful to have that advice knowing what hospitals are able to treat any type of mental concerns that might be out there and what choices there are. Understanding that a lot of it is driven by what your insurance will pay for. And so that people get hung up a lot of times right there. But knowing it in advance, here are the thing, here are your hurdle, boom, 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 boom. Knowing what that's going to be can sometimes make it a little bit easier to take. I mean, one of the last families I dealt with was over actually in the hallway on a gurney and standing there with the person who had attempted, and they were there 7 hours and they really had no knowledge of what was going on next, what the hospital was doing or not doing. They had no idea. And so we want to be able to help you with that. So if you get in that situation, obviously first move is to safety, get that person safe, go to an ER, go or whatever. You can contact the church and reach out through our website or whatever to us, and then the advocacy group will begin to function. One of the things that Doug mentioned, the 5 o'clock group on Wednesday nights is about just all of us coming in, and I may have some pressures that day that I want to share, I want to talk about, or concerns. I want to get feedback on how people are handling things. And it's a really neat 1 hour discussion, just a group of people who care about each other. And you don't have to say anything. It's like Doug's group on Monday night. You come in, you have something you say, or you have a comment about a scripture or whatever, you give it or you don't. My group on Wednesday nights, my small group, we watch a video, we have a discussion. Sometimes people have a point they want to make, some may have a question. Others come and don't say a word and have been there for years and never really talk, and that's all okay too.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to create this comfortable environment where you're surrounded by people that really do care. I mean, I've been amazed, and we talked a little bit this morning about some of the efforts that are going out there and jobs being done. I mean, it's almost like it's a full-time job for them, putting together all this information.
It is, and as you've taught many times, your greatest ministry may come from your greatest sorrow or suffering. And some of these folks who've been through it understand better than anyone what's involved, what it's like to go through it, to get through it and be on the other side, and what it takes to get there. And they are very passionate about helping you get to that point. So don't be afraid, don't be shy. There's all this stigma typically associated with stress and depression and mental awareness. Well, that's something we're trying to alleviate because we all deal with it on some level. It's not unique to some individual or some group. We all deal with it, and you just have to realize that we're all the same. We all have the same struggles, and we want to help each other get through it.
That's exactly right. And there's not going to be any process that we do that's going to eliminate the issue over your insurance. That's going to eliminate whether a hospital has a bed available or not. It's just providing you with the process that takes place. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what you've got to do. And they won't locate a bed for you until they have transportation prepared, or until your insurance is approved. So a lot of this stuff, and what I was impressed with, Doug, as we were doing the research and information was being brought in, is, as you mentioned earlier, what is out there? There is a lot of support out there.
There really is. And the biggest issue for most people, well, for everyone going through a crisis like this, is the unknown. So you're sitting over there in the ER with your loved one, and it's just hour after hour going by, and you don't know what's happening. What could be happening? What should be happening? Well, our group of advocates, that's their goal. Even if there's nothing they can do for you specifically at the moment to solve the problem, they can perhaps tell you that this is the way it works. It's unfortunate, it's slow, but be patient. This is the way it works. We'll do the best we can. But that'll help you through the process of the unknown. Oh, it's going to take 7 or 8 hours. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not just sitting here wondering what in the world is happening.
Or am I leaving in a few minutes or not? I don't know. And so I think for me, that's one of the biggest things that I thought we needed to do is be able to provide some kind of timeline as to what's going on. Not every hospital around is equipped for these types of issues. And they have protocols. They have a process. This is what happens. Here's what you've got to do. Um, the group is familiar with how intakes are done. You've got a suicidal relative. First of all, there's what are you doing right now? Is that person safe? That person needs to be safe, needs to be not alone or whatever. They'll walk you through those kinds of things. If they have attempted and you found them, call Medical Care 911. There's also an emergency suicide hotline, 988. That's it, right? Um, and so what we want to do is get information out there, but then if something happens, know that you can contact the church and or go on the website and look for the numbers that you can. Sorry about that. Look for the numbers that you can access for help, and make sure if you do call in that we have reached back out to you. Which understand is there's a difficult process there. We would encourage you. We're going to have all this information on our website very shortly, where you can go online and look up, and then you'll know you can skip a step as to who to talk to and maybe get some phone numbers and some access so you can get things rolling. But we do encourage you to make sure you make contact with the church with this process so the advocates can get involved and help you. And this is really important. They will help you to the degree that you want help. They're not going to, you enroll with us doesn't mean, okay, now you're in this system. I don't want to be in this. It's not that at all. We're going to offer you, here's what we can do, and here's how we do it. If you'd like, we will help you with that. And then the one thing that I'm really excited about is like the balance of that group that continues meeting on Wednesday nights. We have a lot of people from lots of different experiences in there. You heard some of them on Sunday. Debbie's in there. She lost her son how many years ago? 20 years ago. And she's a major part of this whole movement. Terry, everybody, and they're all there. They're there at this meeting to discuss, and who better to talk about how do I handle, my child's suicide attempt than somebody who's been experiencing that. And so the different emotions that will come out, that's what the group is designed to help, and that's what we're trying to do. So I hope, and if you missed Sunday, you can go online on the live stream icon on our website, and you can watch it, and you can see the whole service. And it was a great service, and we had several people sharing their personal life experience, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I want to give you a heads up for the next 3 weeks. We're going to be doing a special series on where is God when I'm hurting. I'm hurting, and everybody has some hurt. So where's God now? And kind of understanding God's perspective on your life and the things that you're facing. And I think you'll enjoy it. I really enjoyed the preparation for week 1. I think you're going to like it. So I hope you'll be able to stop in and join us on Sunday at 10 o'clock. And if not, we have these small group meetings that you can come to. And you know what? Did you notice that Doug and I are on different sides than what we usually are? And what I noticed is your silhouette in the sun coming in the window is very impressive.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of washed up from all that light. But notice also he pushed me far back into the right. So he's so much taller than I am in this current situation here. So
when we're seated, I'm taller.
Well, unless I sit up straight and move where you are. We're so goofy. I don't know why you guys listen to us, but we do love you.
We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. God bless you.